Hello everyone, this is International Master Alex Ostrovskiy for ChessLessons.com, bringing you the daily tactic snack. And today on the board right here, we have our first warm-up position, and in this position it looks like black is in deep trouble. White has a queen and 4 pawns, only for a rook, bishop, and pawn. Huge material advantage. White is starting queen c7 checkmate. Looks really terrible for black. So it looks like just a terrible position to start the day with. But it turns out, well, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to figure out, is it really all that bad for black? So pause your video and give it your best shot. Alright, hopefully you guys have some idea on how you're going to try to get out of this terrible situation with black, but I'm going to throw out a hint. And that hint is, if we look at black's king over here, it turns out that it doesn't really have that many squares. The e7, e8, c8, c7 squares are all off limits, leaving only the square on d7. And, well, with this hint in mind, I hope you can pause your video once more and try your best to get the right answer. Alright, hopefully at this point everyone has the right answer. And if you thought about my hint about the king not having too many squares, you may have thought of the idea of stalemate. And that is exactly how black is going to save this game. Starting with the move bishop to c6 check. Giving away this bishop, well, white is forced to go queen takes c6, and the whole idea of this sacrifice is now this king over here, which we were talking about, is absolutely trapped, has no squares on the board. So it's stalemate. Well, not quite yet. After rook g1 check, the forcing rook sacrifice king g1, black succeeds in achieving a draw from a completely, well, it looked like it was completely lost, but he succeeds in making a draw. So the theme for today is going to be stalemate, and we have 2 more positions that are only going to get harder. So without further ado, let's move on to the next puzzle. Here we are, our second and medium level puzzle of the day. Again, just like in the first position, white is in deep trouble. There are 3 extra pawns for black, not to mention ideas of f6 and g6, which would win material or be very close to checkmate. So once again, pause your video. Let's see if you can get white out of this very sticky situation. Alright, hopefully you guys have some ideas. We already know the theme of the day is stalemate, so some gears should be turning in your mind. Now the hint is, look, when we have a stalemate on the board, that means well, in this example, white would not be able to move any of his pieces. It's really hard to get to that situation when you have a rook and knight on the board. Obviously, they have a lot of possibilities. So look for ways to constructively give away these pieces and trap the king. Give it another shot. Pause the video. Alright, I hope we're all on the same page now, looking for a nice stalemate trick to save white's position. And the correct move to start will be the move rook e8. So as we mentioned, first move of the game, well, the idea is to give away the pieces constructively, and rook e8 is going to give away this rook. Now, how is this constructive? Well, it looks like white's in even deeper trouble now. f6 is simply checkmate, and the king, although very close to being trapped, still has this h5 square. How are we going to get rid of that? Well, we also have this knight that we can move around, and move around indeed it will. After knight e7 check, black can go either king h8 or king f8. Turns out not to really matter. Let's say king f8 hitting the knight. And here comes the nail in black's coffin for winning attempt, that is, knight g6 check. Fantastic resource. Giving away the knight, the possibility to take it with either pawn, both of them just not cutting it for black. H takes would be stalemate. Now the king cannot advance anywhere, and the rook is obviously cutting off the king on the 4th rank, and f takes leads to the same situation. So black might say, you know what, I don't want to take that knight, I'm going to go for the win, king g8. Well, knight e7, we've been here before, king h8, once again knight g6 check, and black has to concede a draw either by stalemate or by 3-time repetition. A very unusual and beautiful 3-time repetition, I should add. Fantastic example of a stalemate. So if you solve this one, definitely props to you. Not an easy problem to solve, definitely takes some good imagination. Now we're going to move on to the third, last, and most challenging position of the day. Let's see which that one is. Here we are, nearing the end of our journey, the third and definitely the most challenging and also really very cool answer is going to go on here. The last position for the tactics snack, black to move in this pawn endgame, try to make a draw. And, well, no hint yet, pause your videos and try your best. Alright, hopefully we have some ideas on board. If it's white to move here, fortunately it's not. White has a very deadly plan of simply advancing the king towards this weak pawn over here. And then even if black gets the king to d6, white will be able to just wait around, king of 6, king of 5, move the king back and forth, and the e5 pawn will fall. So black needs to play very urgently. Now we already know that in this position what we should be looking for are some ideas of stalemate. And it looks very improbable how to do that here, but keep this in mind. What square can you put your king on where it has the least amount of moves? With this hint in mind, pause your video and let's see if you can get it now. Alright, let's get to the solution. Now the hint that I gave is which square would the king have the least amount of squares on? And one good square for that candidacy is the square on a4, right here. This square on a4. And the correct move here is the shocking move c4, giving away this pawn. Now we're threatening to take on d3, and if d4 is played, then we take, and now a very typical winning idea is c3, giving away all the pawns, but securing a queen. So, you know, white's definitely going to be like, let me just get this free pawn over here, what's the big deal? Now comes the move c5. So what's the idea here? The idea is I simply want to bring my king to the a4 square. Well, white's going to go king g4, he might as well follow his plan. King runs to c4, I'm running, king a5, king d5, king a4, king c5, and now comes very key move. Now the king is on a4, still has one square on a5, not quite a draw, a5. And in this position, even though it's white to move, white can make any move he wants, can push the pawn, can move the king, doesn't matter. The black king has no squares and it's stalemate. Very beautiful and difficult problem. Let us go back to look at that one again. Once again, the first key move, c4. What else can black try? If black tries to play king d7, it's too slow, even though the idea is to run the king to a4. For example, let us follow this variation here. Well, here is just no time at all to suffocate the king. You can try a5, king takes c5, c6. If white's not paying attention and takes on c6, it's stalemate. But after the simple move king d6, we just want to run this pawn down the board and make a queen. So c5, e5, c4, d4 doesn't get black anywhere. So black needs to be very urgent with his drawing mechanism, and c4 does exactly that. D takes c4, c5, and this way there's absolutely nothing white can do to stop this king going to a4 and just a stalemate. Literally nothing. White can do anything he wants. He can even run his king all the way to the corner. Not sure why he would do that, but it doesn't really matter. Still a draw. So there you have it. Very nice theme for today, stalemate. Hope you enjoyed the position. I personally very much enjoyed all of them, especially this third one with the pawn endgame and the second one with the dual piece sack. And we will see you tomorrow.